history doesn't have to happen 24 hours at a time. Like a memory, history often happens in an instant, an interaction, an intersection even. Because at the beginning of every building, there's a conversation between no less than two people. Because here, dreams are more than just permitted, they are planted and planned. And by plan, we mean shared, because government is really just a bunch of people coming together to collectively do all the things that are impossible or impractical to do alone.
What's the buzz about? Welcome to Albuquerque's newest art gallery, Gallery 1, located on the first floor of City Hall. This elegant yet accessible new space is dedicated to works of public art. Perhaps fittingly, the inaugural exhibit, A Day in the Life 2, focuses on public employees and the work they do to keep the city running.
The gallery has been many years in the planning. The mayor prior to Mayor Keller took the idea and ran with it, but Mayor Keller loved it, and him having an art degree made him support it even more. So this has been 5 years in the planning. Public Art left City Hall and moved over to the Convention Center while the offices were being prepared. This used to be the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department has since moved, and we just took possession of the space at the beginning of January. There are many city public art programs, but they don't have a dedicated gallery. They have many satellite spots in which they present art. But I believe this is a unique opportunity that Mayor Keller has been able to present for the city of Albuquerque. We'll be rotating exhibits every 2 to 2.5 months. I think that gives everybody an opportunity to be able to come in and see and take part in workshops, lunch and learns. We want to provide as much information on the exhibits and let people feel that they also have a hand in creating some of the exhibits that happen here. We will have unsolicited proposals that go in, as well as proposals from individual departments here at the city. We want people to understand that public art is involved in everyone's life, and I think this exhibit is a way of showing that art is involved in everyone's life. We had 7 photographers work with 7 departments, and each of them showed in their own way that city work is God's work. And these are people that actually put aside their lives to make lives better for everyone in the city. And so I think the Day in the Life exhibit is a way to bring people in, for them to understand the importance of city work, the importance of public artwork, the marriage between the two, and how they can be involved in that marriage.
So for this, A Day in the Life, I was partnered with ACS, which is Albuquerque Community Services. It's a new department that was formed as a result in like 2020 is when I think they initiated. They are basically an alternative department to calling the police. So they provide services to different people in the community that might not necessarily be criminals or committing a crime, but just need assistance. One of the things that struck me the most is that they're the responders to the homeless population. They're the ones that are coming and delivering a note saying, you're about to get moved or evicted from this spot. So it's a really sensitive population that they're working with. It was pretty emotional doing the ride-alongs with them and being there firsthand to document who they were serving and what their responsibilities were.
I work primarily as a portrait photographer, and so human interaction and connection is very important to me. So that's one of the things that I really strove to accomplish in presenting this work. Really showing the human element, showing the interaction between people, the teamwork that's involved, because it's quite a process, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of different moving parts. And so for me, it was really important to show the human element underneath all of that.
It went really well. I just spent a couple of weeks sort of going around the facilities myself and seeing different times of day different areas, found out what they were doing, what they were willing to let me photograph. And then once I worked that in and fixed the best parts of what I had access to, that's what we ended up with the 10 prints that I was able to give to the city.
Photographing the planning department was a little bit of a challenge. There are many subdivisions that make up the whole department, and a lot of the work takes place within a building. I'm originally a fine art photographer who photographs my participants in natural outside lighting, typically in nature. So having to photograph these individuals in a building with synthetic lighting, in an office setting, it was a little bit of a challenge, because we really want to make sure that we are putting in a lot of character into these photographs so that folks can find them, somewhat appealing and pay attention to them. I was actually really excited to photograph, I believe his name is Manuel, because I was in a very engaging environment and I knew that I was going to actually have some outside lighting to work with. And so he took me to this building that they're currently developing in Uptown.
Well, my sort of overarching theme of the series that I did was called Chores. And so the idea was to capture kind of like what people are doing every single day that maybe the public isn't seeing because it's behind the scenes, or it's just something kind of like that is de rigueur to the people who do it, but is kind of wild if maybe you work at a bank or, at the cell phone store or something, and you don't think about like, oh, they have to go in and hose down this giant warehouse full of animals, or they have to sit and feed all of these tiny kittens who can barely walk and things like that. But the people there, it's very normal to them.
Well, the Parks and Recreation Department ended up being the ideal department for me. The Arts and Culture explained to us that they wanted the emphasis of this project Day in the Life to be on the employees and the work that they do behind the scenes, to kind of give the general public a viewing chance to see what hard work the city employees do on a day-to-day basis. And so that was the primary focus. And of course with Parks and Rec, I want to incorporate a bit of the parks in the background as well too, but primarily focusing on the employees and the work that they do. Which it's more than half the city's budget that goes to Parks and Rec, and it has such an impact in the quality of life on the people who live here, the people who come to visit, just everything that they encompass in the diversity of the department itself was far larger than I was expecting, and I was expecting it to be big. So that was a real eye-opener and a big surprise for me, even though I thought I was prepared for it.
Gallery goers may be surprised to learn there is one department not listed on the city's website, the mysterious Department of Unexplained Phenomena, led by the equally mysterious director, Aurora Ora.
This is a photo of Aurora Ora, the director of the Albuquerque Department of Unexplained Phenomena, inside of her office. This is her answering the phone, taking calls of people reporting any kind of mysterious phenomena they've experienced, whether that's seeing mysterious lights in the sky, seeing unidentified beings out in the bosque, any kind of experiences like that. They would call into that number and report it. Aurora Ora is basically the Fox Mulder of the city of Albuquerque. So when I took the photos of the Albuquerque Department of Unexplained Phenomena of Aurora working at her desk, that was the state of the vaults at the time. The offices were in here, but they have transformed significantly. And through calling the number and coming down here and entering the code, you can see what's in there, and you sort of, it's not what's in the photo. There will be something completely different and mysterious to be found inside of the vault. And the only way to access the vault is through calling the number. Through interacting with the materials installed here and with the phone number for the Department of Unexplained Phenomena, people can uncover the mystery and find out what's inside of the vault.
So next time you're in City Hall to pay a utility bill or attend a city council meeting, make sure to stop in and enjoy this amazing new space.
I think having a gallery in City Hall is very important for many different reasons. Oftentimes people don't have the time and the ability to get out to many different galleries in many different parts of the city. One of the places they know that they have to come to for resources is City Hall. And so you are bringing in an audience and you have a captive audience. And so it's best to merge them both and get a meeting of the minds as to what's important in their community. And I think the gallery represents what's important in the community. We're going to see programs that really engage, that this is a safe space that people can come to. It's a known space. And so you're actually getting a great 2-for-1 shop. If you're coming to take care of city services, you're also getting a healthy dose of art.
Well, it's the first time I've seen it, and I've got to say it's very, very nice. It is bright and airy, and it's just nice to have something that's a public art gallery that gives people the opportunity to, do stuff like this. And it's also really sort of a privilege to be a part of the first exhibit in the first public art gallery. So it's pretty cool. There'll always be more, but there'll only be one first.
It's important for artists to have a dedicated gallery to show their work. A lot of times there's limitations, or just certain galleries will only feature certain artists, or once you get in the door you're good. But having an inaugural space and an initiated contract with the city was a great opportunity.
I'd love to see a diversity of art, different kinds of art in this space. I don't know exactly what they have in mind, but and the fact that it's open to the public on a daily basis is great, because sometimes you have to make appointments to visit art galleries and that sort of thing.
I think that the city has done a good thing by taking this space and committing it to art as opposed to just any number of things including art. I think it's great that we have a spot that we go, no, this is what it's for. It's for art, and it's for people to come and rest and reflect and look at cool things and nothing else. It's not a basketball court sometimes. It's not a tax office when we really need a tax office. It's just art.
I think it's a huge commitment that the city has gone through to go ahead and do the planning, the work, the resources, the years of preparation and building to put this together and to have an actual gallery space. It's not a little corner in the back with a couple of light bulbs. This is a full fine art gallery. And everything that's in here is presented as art, as it is. And it shows just how important art and the arts community as a resource and as a draw for the city and for the state, it is to the city of Albuquerque and its employees, and providing to the residents here an opportunity to experience it.
I think that this gallery sends a message to the general public of Albuquerque that they are making strides and efforts to implement funding and attention towards public art and wanting to uplift local artists in Albuquerque.
I hope it's a piece of a legacy that I want to leave, which is reminding everyone of the power of art, right? What it does in a public space, whether it reflects the artist and their vision of ourselves or of themselves, or it reflects our story, our collective story as a community, either past, present, or future. But in many ways, we know that it enhances all that we are, especially as New Mexicans, right? One of the great things about this state is that art essentially is defining in real time, but also defines who we are as a community. And not many communities can say that, but we can here. So what better way to demonstrate that than to have a gallery right at City Hall featuring local artists? So thank you so much for believing in that vision too.
Have you ever tried to watch your own back? In a city where we swap common unity for currency, where humanity has laid these hands and fingerprints all over us, where community is always 20 toes down, a welfare of best friends, perfectly prayed, like a tent of alternating fingers and paws. This church of public works, where one man's waste is another man's worth, where one woman's safe is another woman's shift, where we take one another's messes seriously, where not much has changed since we were young, and cleaning up after those we love remains the highest form of us. So we adult, with all the stories of us we felt compelled to tell and preserve, A monumental maturity, equal parts becoming and homecoming, however more forgiven than forgotten. A history of futures built of play and clay, crusher fine and monkey bar memories. And every dog park phone call, every dog park driven past, every dog park parking, here, where history is made possible each and every time we clock in.